It is universally accepted that evaluation is part and parcel of the policy cycle, which is an important ingredient in sound public policy decision making. We are all aware of the policy cycle: policy inputs, policy initiation, policy formulation, policy implementation, evaluation, monitoring, and feedback. Unfortunately, in the Sri Lankan scenario, there has been a prevailing tendency on most occasions. There have been exceptions, but on most occasions, to avoid and ignore evaluation. I believe such a tendency to discard evaluation is a total violation of the sound functioning of the public policy decision making process, the policy cycle. We have heard ministries that are tasked with policy formulation and implementation. Policy planning and implementation ministry has been an integral part of the governance process in our country. If Sri Lanka is serious about evaluation, we have to walk the talk. It is high time that we named evaluation as a component part of the main ministry policy planning and implementation. So, in an administration which is headed by the opposition in the future, we shall ensure that we will have a policy planning, implementation, and evaluation ministry, and we will have a holistic and integrated approach in ensuring that the policy cycle is adhered to in the decision-making processes of our country. The attributes and advantages of evaluation are very apparent. It promotes quality decision-making. It promotes evidence-based policy making. It adds quality, efficacy, efficiency to the ultimate policy resultant. In addition, it promotes responsibility, accountability, and transparency. All qualities which are much needed in Sri Lanka's attempt to extricate itself out of this situation of economic bankruptcy and social chaos. What does evaluation do? It helps us to answer the question, how are we doing? Where are we now? What have we achieved? Evaluation enables us to match the policy resultants with the original policy goals and objectives. There have been attempts to give prominence to evaluation in the Sri Lankan system of government and administration, but I personally believe those attempts have been extremely slow and feeble. I applaud the path-breaking attempts of Honorable Kabir Hashim, Buddhika Patirana, Mayantha Disanayaka, and all of the other members of Parliament, and also stakeholders and organizations that have continued to stress the importance of evaluation in the policy decision-making process. Now we have a framework to implement evaluation. I still persist in my argument that we have to move away from this lethargy and the slow process, this tortoise-like pace in trying to give due credence to evaluation. We are yet to enact a national bill, although it seems to be on the legislative pipeline. We need to have a permanent standing committee in Parliament which symbolizes the country's importance that it attaches to the concept of evaluation. It is high time that each ministry, each project, each department, including Parliament, embarks on establishing separate individual evaluation units which can come under a macro evaluation umbrella, which would be part and parcel of the Ministry of Policy Planning and Implementation. If we examine the countries that are called the so-called superior countries, developed countries, the so-called first world, we can observe the fact that those countries have given the utmost prioritization to the process of evaluation in the decision-making process. So I hope the series of gatherings that you all have had, and I'm sure you will have it next year also, and the year after, that these meetings will persuade those in power to take due recognition of the importance of evaluation. We can meet, we can have seminars, exchange ideas, learn from each other. Certainly that's very valuable. But time has come for Sri Lanka to walk the talk on evaluation. I hereby declare that in a future government, we will ensure that evaluation has the highest position in the decision-making process and in the issues and policies that will decide the national agenda. Of course, evaluation has now become an exception rather than the norm. When we try to instill these evaluation qualities in the decision-making processes, we are bound to face obstacles. Those who have been working within the parochial, old-fashioned framework will resist and provide obstacles and challenges. They'll find reasons why not to implement evaluation. Maybe because it entails more work, hard work, and maybe because it will stifle corruption. It will stifle mismanagement, maladministration, bribery, and all the nefarious activities that have become a humongous drain on the scarce resources of our country. Let's get together, irrespective of party politics, to ensure that evaluation becomes the country norm rather than the exception. I salute all of you who are engaged in this valuable process. Dr. Kalugampitiya, and we have an ex-parliamentarian who had championed the process while being a member of parliament. And we have so many members of parliament present here now, including Dr. Harini Amarasuriya and other respected members, Honorable Raja Karuna. We are all committed to ensure that evaluation has its due place in the Sri Lankan policy process. I thank you.